what if you always tried when you looked at somebody to understand what it is they hope you see and hear from them? Tell her that I'm happy.
Marching down the street, yeah, that's like my Chicago. This time we stop and pray.
Snail, your tail. And most importantly, I want to strongly suggest that you walk out with your sloth out. That's right, your sloth.
If you have the opportunity to behold someone who might be othered in their everyday life, I think to see someone being like resplendent and authentic is one of the best things that you can see. And it's very moving, it's very human, it's very identifiable, and it's really powerful. So I think that simple thing right there, if you can create an environment where people are empowered and are themselves and are glowing with themselves, whatever that may be, people will be moved by that.
Wow, okay, so yeah, you are busy.
Hey, thanks, Will.
Welcome. My name is Jane Beachy, and you are at Salon-a-thon.
In case you don't know, basically, Salon-a-thon kicks off, the DJ's playing music, the lights kind of come on, our little clip-on lights, and we send Jane Beachy out first.
Salon-a-thon is at home
For underground, emerging, and genre-defying art.
And also, she's the perfect person to welcome you because the room wouldn't exist without her.
We're all the show. We're all doing it right now. I know you forgot. You thought that you were at Carnegie Hall because of our fabulous technology. But no, you're just in a bar. And we have agreed with our minds that this portion of the room for now is the stage.
She talks and she introduces, the bartenders and the nail tech and who's at the door. And I think that's the welcome people understand. It's like she's welcoming you into the house. Welcome to the party. I create my lineup on the back of a bill that's due.
It's kind of like where it starts. It's just like a simple list of first names. The one that I'm working on right now the theme is to keep moving forward. Falls on Martin Luther King Day, and to keep moving forward is a part of one of his quotes. If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. And as always, I want there to be a few first-timers and a few faves and a few artists that I haven't seen in a while and a few folks who just come to mind when I think of the theme.
I met a man who built a house. I asked, how did you know how to build a house? Are you a natural electrician? Are you a talented stonemason? Are you interested in pipes and the water that moves through them? He said, I started one day by teaching myself one new thing. 1,000 small, accomplishable tasks, one at a time. And a little bit later, I had a house.
The incarnation that we know now as the weekly event that happens at Beauty Bar and all of the expansions from there happened 6.5 years ago. I was meeting and seeing other people around me who I thought were really interesting and had cool ideas that they would just kind of haphazardly mention, and then they would just pop into the
ether and never come to be.
This is one that always pops into mind, is like being in the pink room as opposed to like the larger room, because there's like maybe 20 people, and Kia Marcelo Junio doing one of their first performances.
Pulled him off and said, "Fuck the military," and dove into his mouth. I pulled his shirt off, kept kissing him, then I said, "Close your eyes, make a wish, blow out the candlelight, for tonight is just your night, we're gonna celebrate."
I felt if we had 25 people there, we were doing something good for Beauty Bar and they wouldn't like discontinue the series. And then I remember that shifting about 6 months in to like 50. And I actually at that time, I sort of still feel this way, to be totally honest. I was like, we've made it, I don't want it to get any bigger.
Yeah. And I really miss that kind of intimacy. I think we all do to some degree. I know Jane's talked about that a lot, like the early days, that you could really walk around the room and notice people that were there for the first time and go up and talk to them, and start building those relationships, which are critical, I think, to the culture and the community of what Salon-a-thon is.
It has definitely meant working all the time. At the same time, I love it. It's the thing that I do that I love.
I came sort of depleted. I wanted to share. I wanted to perform, but I had put myself in a world in New York in which, you had to be asked.
Salon-a-thon was one of the first places I ever spit a poem in Chicago. It was one of the places that I have spit some of the scariest poems. It was one of the first places I've ever sung, and taken some of the biggest risks as an artist I think I ever have.
And it was the first time that I performed in front of a group of people in a long time and had everybody been like, yeah! And it just, I could feel the well starting to fill back up.
In December 2012, that I was diagnosed with HIV, and I all of a sudden had a place that, even though I still didn't have a job, I was just figuring out health insurance, had no money, no savings, this was like a bad place to be in. I could sort of busy myself or distract myself with bringing in all these artistic voices.
In the last year, it's been more exhausting because I'm getting older.
And there began to come a question of am I the right person to be doing this still?
Salon-a-thon's Home for Underground Emerging and Genre-defying Art. It's been happening right here at Beauty Bar for 6.5 years. Friday, Monday, and it will continue to do so until February 12th. Mark your calendars. Don't groan. Everything must grow, must progress.
Butterflies.
We're not dying. We're evolving. It's going to be great.
Because so much of all of our identities are wrapped up in Salon-a-thon. And so it feels like letting go of yourself.
And something happens every once in a while when a performer just isn't even performing for anybody in that bar. They're doing it just for themselves. And that, for me, as a person witnessing, is what becomes powerful. It's so fantastic. That will be one thing I completely miss.
Salon-a-thon started out of the most authentic thing I think I have to offer, and the most authentic dream and hope. So it is very personal to me.
So then I would sit on the end of my bed and I would say out loud, there is a me. There is a me. There is a me. Because when you are able to really access that and let the rest of the bullshit fall away, it really is remarkable, right? What is it? And how is it? And so no matter what else is happening in this insane world around us, there's that.
If I told you I went to DePaul and I'm a full-time actor, you probably still couldn't guess that like I spent 2.5 years homeless and like addicted to drugs and was an alcoholic, and that I did shows still at Steppenwolf for the Goodman, playing leads, sleeping on floors and people's couches at the theaters, and that you still wouldn't know that my last drink was actually July 19th in this building, 2016, on a Monday night. And so even with all that, there is a me.
Away from this metal, and away from my jerks, and away from my spasms, inside we are a person.
People talk about like seeing themselves on TV or something, or on a stage for the first time, as like a way of saying like feeling represented.
Once upon a time, there was born a girl who was at first born a boy, and they were the same person. Always beneath the surface, the girl knew the boy was still there. The boy was a part of the girl, and after so many years, the girl was a part of the boy.
Seeing people who like gone through similar things as you represented is really nice, and that happens a lot at Salon-a-thon.
Some wonder how much longer the boy and girl could sustain the war. Some wonder if they could ever find freedom to let go of the fight. Some wonder if there will ever be a victor.
To just stumble in for whatever reason, they can find something, someone, they can be seen, they can be heard. That I think does more to act as a countercultural tool.
What does justice look like to you, America?
God, honey, I don't know.
That's the fucking problem. Don't know what justice looks like because you're too blinded by the fucking King of Swords reversed. Okay? And BoJack Horseman isn't gonna do you any shit, okay? I feel like the only way for America to get justice, we need to make America gay again.
Today.
Right now.
The thing that's at the heart of true progressivism, I think, is being so beautifully sensitive to each other and wanting the best for each other.
Right. You feel like you're drowning, and then you show up to Salon-a-thon and someone says something remarkable in some beautiful, poetic, ephemeral way that just snaps you away from your own worlds.
Dear Oracle, what should I wear to my mother's funeral? She's gonna die soon. I don't know when, but soon. This moment, all of these moments until that one are a holding of the breath.
The goal is to watch things not from a place of judgment or like cool assessment, but to try to watch things, to try to experience things from the inside, as though you are a part of them, which you are, by being in the room.
I could have sworn you were on a train car alone. You didn't hear anyone use the emergency doors to join you. Do you check your phone or do you follow the shadow? Okay, the follow the shadow people have a lot more feelings about it. So that's where we're going.
It's taken really amazing people who feel comfortable in the room to come up and say, like, I can't participate in this thing, which we want you to participate in because of ...
I think that having ASL interpretation has obviously made Salon-a-thon more accessible for deaf folks, but I think that it's also done something really beautiful for performers. I know that Asia Bullock in particular was blown away by the ASL interpretation of Booty Safari, and she is obsessed with it now. That was a Violet Doyle creation.
Safari, booty, booty, safari, it's a booty, safari, a booty, safari, domestic booty, exotic booty, chicken booty, and spotted booty, mama booty and baby booty, working booty, lazy booty, orange booty, purple booty, Theo booty, Urkel booty, short booty and tall booty, it's come one, come all booty.
People naive about accessibility don't see where they're failing it.
So when I want to dance with other people, I'll show you what happens.
Want to volunteer with me?
See? That's what I do. See my body, how I'm looking at him, how we're following each other? I don't have to hear to see what he's doing.
You all embrace me for who I am. You see me as an artist, not a person in a wheelchair. And not one person has come up to me, speaking to me in a condescending baby voice, even if they didn't know me very well. Like some people on the street. I don't know if it's because you were taught good manners as kids. But whatever the case may be, we have found each other, thanks to Jane Beachy. We have created a space which is unique, a space of acceptance, creativity and positive attitudes. If only all of the world was like this, we would be in a much better place. I see no better word than to call you family.
There's a hope inside of Salon-a-thon and what Salon-a-thon is. And I think there's a fear ending Salon-a-thon on Monday nights equals the death of that hope or the failure of that hope. This isn't like we were wrong to hope that the world can be a certain way. We've proven it.
Our intentions are not changing, and the questions we're asking aren't changing, and the values that we're holding ourselves so steadfastly to are not changing. They're not going anywhere. What new magic will happen? I don't know, but I'm excited to find out.
A song before we go. Close your eyes. In places like this room, I remember that there can be a world where giving and needing are the same, where one feeds into the other, gentle, tummy full. Some days I take a step closer to that world. Tomorrow we can take a step closer to that world, towards needing nakedly and giving with no fear. Tonight we will sing.
Sometimes in our lives, we all